team, welcome along to the Beeline. Great to have you with us for the first time in Nové Město this season. Josh, Ollie, Annie, all alongside me, ready to dig into what we've just witnessed, which was a lot of fun. Plenty of headlines to come. Let's get you straight to the women's highlights.
The Whoop UCI Mountain Bike World Series got its European season off and running with the opening round of the UCI Cross Country Short Track World Cup on European soil of the season in the Czech Republic. Nové Město na Moravě, one of the sport's spiritual homes, got underway. And it was Canada's Jen Jackson who led them off the line for Orbea Fox. The UCI World Champion Evie Richards involved at the front of this one right from the start in the white jersey with the rainbow stripes. It was the USA's Kate Courtney, however, who led them up the first climb. Chiara Tiocchi on the Lapierre bike attacked the front of the race as well. But there was carnage further down the course in the first time round. The new hairpin left-hander. Courtney and Urban tangling, but the returning UCI cross-country Olympic world champion Puck Petersen for Alpecin de Koning attacked up the climb. Richard stalked her every inch of the way. And this little bubble just threatened to unseat some of the big names. Luana Lecomte in the BMC was at the front of the race on this climb, but an incident later on would put her well down the order and outside of the top 30. Alessandra Keller, the reigning double UCI overall title holder, was at the front as always for Thomas Maxson. But lap after lap, Puck Petersen just kept the pressure on all of her rivals' throats. Keller attacked up the climb. She won here last season, her only victory of the season. Yolanda Neff, again showing huge signs of recovery, but this was the sprint full line. Petersen went early, and the Dutchwoman on the number 3 bike for Alpecin de Koning picked up just where she had left off. We hadn't seen her on a mountain bike since that UCI World Championships win in Pal Aronsal, Andorra. It's been over half a year, but Puck Petersen hasn't changed a bit. Petersen then, Richards, Indergand, Keller and Neff all on the same second at the end of the third round of the UCI Cross Country Short Track World Cup in Nové Město na Moravě. That left the standings looking like this. Richards leads the way in the Short Track World Cup ahead of Kohler, Keller, Maxwell and Kendis Leal in 5th.
And here she is, the first winner of Nové Město. Puck Petersen joins us. We're going to get into all sorts of things, including talking about how ChatGPT helps the modern racer, the modern mountain bike rider. But first of all, can you just sort of take us through how it felt to come back and be back in this environment after you've been out on the road?
It's been so good, actually. Everything is super relaxed, and it's been really nice seeing all my friends again. Yeah, of course, you don't race in the same teams often, but like here at the mountain bike, everybody is so friendly, and there's a great companionship.
And there was never any sense that, like, I know you say you don't really feel pressure so much, but it would be understandable if you did come here and have that sort of target on your back and felt a bit angsty.
Oh, for sure, yeah. I get nervous before the race, but actually today was still quite okay because, yeah, I can say it's the first race, first World Cup for me. I don't know where I stand, so I can keep it off a bit.
And I think, you know, did you watch the races in Brazil?
Yeah, for sure. I watched everything.
Did you think you could win them?
I don't know. I just saw that the racing was so tight and the field as well. Like, it really looked like they moved up one more step compared to last year.
Technically as well.
Yeah.
Everyone's been practicing the jumps. And
that course looked so good.
Yeah. Have you raced? Did you race last year? Did you race in
No,
Arashot?
I've never been there. No,
so it's all new. But yeah, you see everyone was absolutely under 23s. Everyone was pinning it. Have you been practicing the jumps in the winter or more just on the road sprint?
Or do you not need to practice the jumps?
No, I need it's my something I'm not really good at are the jumps, but I try to get into it. We now have like a jump line close to my home, so I try to go there a bit because more and more races have like bigger jumps actually nowadays. So it's really important to do it. And I think yesterday I did the shark fin for the first time and I cased it like 2-3 times. But today in the race I also cased it. So I still have to practice.
As I steal the microphone back off Ollie, I am curious about how you feel back out on the track now. So here in Nové Město, it's a little bit rooty, a little bit slippery. Was that an adjustment to get used to the bike again and that kind of riding?
Especially last week I did Hooibach and I came back on track and I felt so unstable on the bike. I really had to get into it, but throughout the race it went better and better. And then when I came here, I first did some of the trails behind the track. And actually, from when I went on course, everything felt really good.
You've raced here before as an under-19 and a junior. Do you remember those feelings like we just saw the juniors take off to now? Do you remember how that felt to be a young up-and-coming rider to now being a World Cup round winner?
Yeah, it was so good. I was always with the national team and it would just be one big holiday actually with the national coach and the team, and to be here to race and then also watch the elites race and like think about what can maybe happen in the future. But yeah, you're not sure when you're that young, of course.
And did you think this would happen?
No, I remember having chats with friends like, when you compare the lap times, I'm like, if I ride with Elite, I'm getting put on 12, 13 minutes. How am I ever supposed to beat those people? But here I am.
Here you are.
I love the idea that you're not still a kind of young. Yeah, I get what you're saying. You're saying like you're now established. You're fully established, and you can go out there and just kick it with the best of everybody. I mean, that must be a pretty good feeling.
Yeah, for sure. It's super nice.
Okay, so tomorrow, cross country. You just said it's a fun course. You've been here quite a few times, but how are you feeling? What are you thinking?
Yeah, they took out some climbs. So after the routine, never-ending climb, normally you would go to the right and then more up. Where actually, if you had something left in the tank after the routes, you could really like make a bigger difference on people behind you. And now that climb is out. And also after the BMX drop downs, the technical climb is less high.
And you used to have a split line as well, didn't you?
Yeah, the split line is totally gone, and I think it changes a bit on how the race will develop. Probably the gaps will be less prominent, especially in the beginning. So I expect some tight racing.
And you see Sammy Maxwell had a shocker in the short track. I think she got caught in a crash, so she's going to be maybe third row tomorrow. So you think maybe the first lap you can put the pressure on?
Yeah, I don't know. I think I'll just see the first few laps what everybody else is doing, but yeah, I hope Sammy is okay then for tomorrow. I did not know she crashed.
So I think Jen Jackson, Sammy Maxwell, Luana Lecomte all got caught up. I think so. They're all okay.
It's not nice.
Yeah, but they just finished a little further back. It was on that last on the 180 on the wall ride.
Yeah.
I
think
were all
I almost
tangling.
rode over Jen.
Yeah.
I barely escaped that one, I think. Yeah, especially here in Nové Město, like the short track, everything is super wide, which is nice, but also it makes for it that there's more clumping together, and especially with the first World Cup back then in Europe, it's so stressful.
It's more dangerous here, I think, than any other.
It's quite dangerous. Last year I crashed as well, like here on a really silly straight bar actually.
But this is where the road, I know you've always raced on the road, it's not a new thing, but the more racing you do on the road, coming back into this, it feels more natural, fighting for position. Yeah,
the positioning is good, but it's way different, especially with the wide handlebars. You bump into each other more. And also, I feel like on the road, whenever you want to pass somebody, or of course you have your train of the team as well. Whenever you want to pass for somebody, it's easier, let's say, than on the mountain bike. On the mountain bike, everybody is battling for their own spot, which makes it that there's not less respect, but you have to think more about yourself. And just if they bump me, I have to bump them as well, So it's more with the elbows out than on the road, actually.
The track is so wide here. Are you looking at those extra lines? I mean, now you got a front row start. Were you paying attention to how wide the track is and maybe somewhere to, like you said, accelerate over the top of that never-ending climb, maybe accelerate through the Redbull arch? Are you paying attention to those extra lines just in case while you're being patient?
Yeah, for sure. Especially the places where there are still different options, I try to check them out. So the big rock garden, you can choose left or right, and the last descent or towards the technical climb, like before the tree drops, you can also choose 2 lines. So I pay attention to that during track practice.
Did you manage to get out with the guys yesterday?
Yes, it was really hard. We were we were riding towards the course here, and it was like 45 minutes, but it was headwind all the time. So I was like dead in the wheel, already suffering. And then I told them, yeah, hey, I'm not joining you on track because I
have a race to do.
washed the day after. And then they were like, no, we'll take it easy, it'll be nice. And it was not easy.
Was it nice?
Yeah, it was good though. I saw some different lines, and especially following those guys, like they have a way with moving the bike, and it's really good to follow, I think.
And do you use Sam Gaze for motor pacing?
Yes, he's a great motor pacer.
And we promised actually to tell the guys what was the ChatGPT reference, because a lot of the elites were out there using their on gravel tires, but you didn't choose to go down that route.
No, I just stayed on the Scorpions. I think they are nice, and they work good for me, especially like on the, I don't know, there's some tight corners around here, and I just like to have the confidence and the grip with it as well.
All right, lovely stuff. You mentioned the guys. They went off after the women, so it is time to bring you the highlights from the men's race.
The Whoop UCI Mountain Bike World Series got its European season off and running in one of its great homes. The UCI World Cup returned to Nové Město na Moravě. Christopher Blevins from Specialized Factory Racing stood on the cusp of history. Could he become the first elite men's rider to win 3 short track races at the start of the year on the bounce? Blevins led them away, but right alongside him in the green jersey and the white helmet was Lukas Schwarzbauer. Schwarzbauer had won the weekend before in Germany and was looking back to his extremely powerful best. There was carnage through the first left-hand hairpin bend. Schwarzbauer was soon joined at the front by a who's who of big hitters. Alan Hafferley just got punted off the track by Martin Vidari as he looked for space around him. Viktor Koretsky, though, was looking for space at the front of the race. The UCI World Champion looking to get the better of his teammate, the UCI World Cup overall points leader, Christopher Blevins. They were joined at the front by Filippo Colombo for Scott Schramm. Schwarzbauer stayed at the front of the race as well, refused to give up on it. And the pack remained together as the laps ticked off. That hairpin continued to cause drama further down the pack. Colombo found himself in the lead in the penultimate lap, but come the final sprint, Viktor Koretsky hit the big red button, but the big red rider behind him, Christopher Blevins, got past Colombo, zeroed in on his target, and watched that final move, just chop to his left-hand side to get past Koretsky, who was left to do nothing but shake his head. Koretsky tasting defeat, another huge win. Christopher Blevins makes history in Nové Město na Moravě, 3 in a row. Blevins, Koretsky, Colombo the top 3, Schwarzbauer rewarded with 4th, Aldridge up in 5th. Let's see what that did for the standings. Blevins leads Koretsky by 150 points, but Thomas Litcher currently up in 3rd.
Not a bad men's race off the back of that women's race either. And 1-2 for Specialized again and again. Christopher Blevins, Josh beats Victor Koretsky into second place. What a race that was. But it'd be cool we'll talk about kind of team dynamics and how that all played out in a moment, but it'd be cool just to get your kind of headlines apart from the 1-2 from the rest of the race.
I mean, Chris, Victor, the big dogs were back. Lukas Schwarzbauer had an incredible race. He showed that form was coming back into form. Charlie Aldridge and that entire Cannondale factory racing team. Cole Punchard had a great race as well, but he got hung up in that wall ride. And same with Luca Martin. Luca was right there in that top 10 the whole time, played a fantastic tactical race, really placed himself well. The legs were good, but he just got hung up in a bit of a crash later in the race. He came across the line and was so pumped. So those team tactics, they were working well together, and they were maybe, I mean, Martin Vidura was there, but they were maybe the second strongest team on the circuit today, which was great.
Yeah, and Scott Schramm as well, Filippo Colombo and Nino Schurter as well.
There.
Colombo looked really strong.
He did.
He'll be a factor tomorrow for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the big thing you have Specialized obviously carrying through, and I mean like the pressure I don't know if it's pressure. I don't know. It's like you've won a load of stuff, so kind of like it's cool, we're winning. So
I think then if you don't win it,
but you don't win,
then
everyone's going to talk. And we did it last year. They won a load of stuff, and then they had a bit of a dip when they came to Europe.
Yeah.
I think Nové Město, and they got some sickness and form, and then Cannondale rose up a little bit. So I think for them to back it up, well, I think it was amazing. To go 1-2 again, I wouldn't have put money on that. No way. But I think Lukas Schwarzbauer, Filippo Colombo were like Schwarzbauer man of the match for me.
Big time. Yep.
How he took it on. He went back at the front and was controlling the race. Like we said, we've talked about it before, but he had a really big win last week. His biggest win, I think, maybe ever, other than the short in cross country.
Yeah.
There was an HC race in Hooiback last week that Peters said she did, and that was the kind of big warm up for this weekend. He won that race. So to come back in, he's got the confidence. He's back on it. He knows he's got the form. He rode a good short, and he was disappointed with fourth.
Yeah, and a real fan favourite as well, who was sitting back at the top of things after a bit of a quieter previous season in 2024. Come on then, let's talk about these team dynamics. Okay, so look, so we've had 3 races. Chris Blevins has done this unbelievable thing of winning the first 3 in a row short track in the men. The first 3 races of the season all gone to him. No one's done that before. No man has done that before. And second place each time has been his teammate Victor Koretsky. Okay, they're a team, we get that, but they're also trying to they're going to look at each other in the eyes as they go for dinner. He has taken from him the thing that he was pushing for, trying to do today. Annie, you must have experience of these sorts of things. How has it played out in your own career?
I just think that if it's your teammate and it's someone you get on with, and they beat you fair and square,
yes,
I mean, you're so happy for them, because if you've done a good job as well, I think there's a separation between what they do and what you do. If you've not done a good job, then it's different. Right. But you can't always compare yourself to each other. It's sorry, not the answer you wanted. I know you wanted to.
Because I actually feel like, go on.
You work together through the year or through years of being teammates, and you see each other's ups and downs, actually on the bike, but also in life as well, because you travel together. Yeah. You spend so much time together. So, if your teammate does well, generally you're genuinely happy for them, unless you don't get on then.
That's a recent athlete. That's a recent rider talking there, Ollie. Are you going to give us the beef? Are you going to give us the proper beef from longer ago?
I think, as far as I know, Koretsky's got a big contract with Specialized.
Yes.
There's no stress. You get to September and it's contract time, or August, and then you get done by your teammate. That's slightly different. At the end of the day,
he looks perfectly happy here. He looks delighted, doesn't he?
These guys want to win. They get over it pretty quick, but ultimately these are professional riders. This is their life. This is their job. There's a big difference. There's a bonus structure. There's income to be made. There is a factor, So
yeah. I get that, but I think there's a separation there between yourself and them.
100%. I think when you win as a team, someone wins as a team, you're happy. 100%.
Oh, yeah.
Don't forget, they're fighting for first and second. It's easy when you 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Let's take a second to think about Martin. Martin hasn't won one yet. He is hungry. So the team dynamic between Victor and Chris might be all rosy and happy days and high fives and I'll get to you tomorrow. But Martin's sitting there looking at both of them thinking, mate,
do you remember?
I'm coming for you two.
And
he will.
Do you remember Maripora last year, first round of the short track?
Yeah.
Do you remember it? We had this big kind of argument.
Yeah.
So remember, Koretsky was like, he's the boy, And on the last corner, 2 corners to go, Sam Gaze was taking it on and they were fighting for the wheel. And Vidare kind of undercut Koretsky, took second and third, and they had let's say, a heated conversation at the end. Then that's
enthusiastic.
different.
It was enthusiastic.
But then they downplayed it. But that's different. When you've got someone who's like the team leader, and then you've got someone who's like an understudy as such, or a lower ranked rider, when that happens, here you've got Blevins and Koretsky. They're both like co-leaders, if that makes sense, in the team. So they're mixing it up. It's all cool. If someone like further down, Adrian Boischi, who's not here this weekend, but if he turned up and smashed them both, it's like, cool, right, how's this going to work? Who's going to get the first massage tonight? Who's going to get their bike washed? I've been there before.
This is what we want to hear.
Yeah, you want the goss.
This is what I want. I want the goss.
There is a hierarchy in the team.
Stuff that's fascinating from the outside.
I've been in the biggest teams when I was racing, and I was one of the lower ranked riders in that team. Obviously, world champions, Olympic champions, and there is a thing of who's going to get their bike sorted first if someone's got an issue. Who's going to lead? Who's going to decide what time we're going to ride to the course?
Who gets the new kit?
Who gets the new kit? Who gets the prototype wheels? And when you're lower down, we talk about this marginal gain. You don't get the marginal gains as readily when you're the 5th rider out of 5 in a team. You have to fight for those. So I think it's when we see Blevins and Koretsky, it's probably less of a scrap. They're probably treated equally, but it's the rider further down the list that can really benefit from a good result.
Good results raise the whole team as well. So don't forget. So there may be a little bit of hierarchy in there, but if you're winning and that team is winning, the whole team is lifted. The whole team is presented with new kit, new bikes, prototype stuff, new stuff, blah, 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 blah. If no one's winning and no one's performing and no one's doing well,
that's the
dark place.
It's the dinner table as well. There's a big difference on the dinner table if it's gone well or if it's not gone well.
Yeah, massive. Yeah. And then it's the confidence, the morale, everyone working in the team. The mechanics have a hard time.
Yes.
They're the ones, they're the kind of psychologists. They sit back and they absorb all this. They've always got to be happy and upbeat, whether they've been good or bad. The mechanics come in.
You never had a grumpy mechanic?
Pardon?
Never had a grumpy mechanic?
No comment.
This is the stuff we want to people. Thank you so much.
Think about how much work they have to do, and our mechanics, I've been blessed with an amazing mechanic over my career and mechanics at home, but it's hard. Their job doesn't change. If someone flats or gets a mechanical or snaps a chain and their rider should have won, if they get 1st or 30th or 50th or lapped out, they're still doing the same job. They're still cleaning the bike, they're still pumping the tyres, they're still doing the suspension, they're still 100% committed. Brutal.
So the question is, as we hear from Chris Blevins now, will he just be shouting into the camera, I am the man, I am number 1? Yeah. Let's find out.
Christopher Blevins, 3 from 3, the first ever male to win 3 XCC courses. How does it feel?
Oh, great. This one was definitely harder than the others. I felt great, but dropped my chain with a lap to go, or right before the last climb. And mindset changes, you just, all out, all strategy out the window, just give it everything. And I was really surprised. I mean, it was such a long finish and the headwind, so that really helped me, but yeah, crazy.
So awesome to see that turnaround after such a mechanical. And before the race, was the tactics to be in the front row or to be with the guys all up the front?
Yeah, just stay safe. Don't get in, any dangerous situations, even if it means spending a little more energy. So felt like I did that, and rode kind of defensive, and then waited for the last lap, and everything went to plan except dropping my chain, but it was my mistake. I just had a bad shift over the logs.
Okay, and now talk us through aero socks, gravel tiles, aero helmet. Why?
Yeah, pretty cool, huh? I mean, kudos to our mechanics, the engineers, the tire team is specialized. Gravel is, getting a lot more like mountain bike. You see a lot of 2-inch tires on people's bikes at gravel races, and pretty funny to have gravel tires on a mountain bike race, but they're so fast, and it just works so well on the Epic 8.
Well, we've seen that today. Well done, Chris.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Great stuff, and lovely stuff from Emma Stewart as well, reporting. So, the weekend is far from over, team. We've got a whole load of racing coming up tomorrow. What are you expecting to see after what we've had today?
Well, I think that the course, we've lost a little bit of the last climb on the course. It's running pretty smooth, I'd say. I think it's going to be a really fast lap. So Oh yeah, I just think it's going to be tight racing again. I think maybe a couple of laps for people to settle in, and then we'll see some movements.
I think we're going to see a bit of a group race. First 3-4 laps. Even Puck said, I don't think she'll take it on. She'll sit back a little bit. Everyone will test each other. But I think you're going to see at mid-halfway, the main climb, we got that big steep route climb. And like you said, Puck said, last time it dragged over the top, you go up that and straight in. So it's more on and off. There's less kind of the drags, so the climbs are shorter. So it's going to be more punchy. I think Evie Richards, I think the women will really enjoy the changes. Schwartzbauer and the men will like the changes. I'm into him this weekend. I really want to go good.
You really are. And also, Josh, before you come in, or maybe you're going to say it anyway, we've got the return of Mathieu van der Poel.
We've got the return of Mathieu van der Poel. He's got plate number 95. He'll start around 36 or 37, I think, on the grid. The start loop will be crucial for him. And I think the field needs to be ready for this. They need to be ready for him to come through. He has the legs. He may be in a similar spot to we heard from Puck before. He may not have that technical ability right now, but he's been riding around all week with Sammy Gaze, who definitely does have that ability. And you cannot underestimate that man's ability. If anyone can make it happen, he can make it happen. And with the changes to the course, they really suit a rider who is coming from the back, who has the legs. You can go up that never-ending climb like we heard from Puck and accelerate over the top. Pretty much a clear description of Mathieu van der Poel. You can come out of that rear descent and accelerate through that lower part of the climb now. There's not a big technical section. I think we're going to see early attacks. I think they have to stretch it out early to put him under pressure, and if they wait, it's their own fault.
That is that. If that didn't whet your appetite, I don't know what will. Speaking of wet, it started to rain, so it's time for us to wrap things up here. Thanks so much, Annie. Great to have you for the first time in the studio. Great to have you lot. We'll see you tomorrow.